Hello, and welcome to another installment of the Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse. I'm Pug, and here's what I'm thinking. Today we're going to be talking some Seattle Sounders FC, along with some Major League Soccer. That's right, got the season starting up on Thursday. But before we do, I'd like to read a comment. Yes, somebody commented on my last entry when I was vlogging about the NCAA tournament, the Washington Huskies and the Pac-10. This is from a person who goes by the username Poopstreak with 2 E's. And Poopstreak writes, "The Pac-10 is overlooked most years, but this year they are not. The Pac-10 suck this year. Go Huskies." I got 2 responses to you, Poopstreak. First one, thank you very much for commenting. And number 2, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I don't think that this year in the Pac-10 helped their cause to being looked at as a legitimate conference. So thanks very much for commenting. Couldn't agree with you more. And also when you say go Huskies, yeah, how about those Washington Huskies? How about that? They did bust up my bracket a little bit. They're now in the Sweet 16. They got a game against West Virginia on Thursday. Looking forward to that. And also California did make some noise. They upset Louisville. They didn't bust up my bracket, though, too much because I had them winning against Louisville in the first round and losing to Duke in the second, which is exactly what happened. Also, I lost my national champion. I was one of the many people that predicted Kansas to go all the way, and they lost. So now I have Duke, Kentucky, and Syracuse. My bracket isn't completely busted, but it's definitely taken a lot of hits throughout the tournament. So that's going to close out the conversation from last week. If you would like to view my blog, you can go to cwupulsepug.blogspot.com, and you can comment there, and also feel free to comment here on the web on this vlog, Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse. So let's close this out and talk a little bit about what I was planning to talk about today, which is the Seattle Sounders and the Major League Soccer. And first of all, it's a proud time to be a fan and a proud time to be a part of the MLS. Earlier this week, the league and the Players Union agreed to a 5-year collective bargaining agreement. And because of that, there will not be a strike. The kickoff of the season will happen on Thursday when the Seattle Sounders take on the expansion Philadelphia Union at Quest Field, or I should say the Xbox pitch at Quest Field, since that's what they call it. And can you breathe a sigh of relief? I mean, the MLS has accomplished a huge goal, and now will not have to deal with labor problems for the next 5 years. I mean, they keep their business open during a recession. The league can continue to grow. Television ratings can continue to rise, which has happened the last couple of years. And as a Seattle Sounders FC fan, I mean, we don't have to worry about the Portland-Seattle rival not coming into this league anymore. I mean, next year, Portland and Vancouver will get MLS teams, and it's going to set up Northwest rivalries. It's going to be great. And right now, I get the impression, and I have the same opinion as the general fan here, but I get the impression that Seattle fans already hate Portland, even though they don't have an MLS team yet. They still have the Timbers. Got to give them kudos for having a soccer team. And we want Portland in this league so we can have bragging rights. We can have that competition. I mean, if you ever go to a Portland-Seattle hockey game, I mean, it's a lot of fun. We're ready for this rival. Seattle's ready for it. I know Portland's ready for it. Bring it on, I-5 opponent. Not only that, now let's go to the general side again. Not only that, with the MLS not going on strike, I mean, how much would it stink if they went on strike right after Seattle's successful first year? I mean, we would be looked at as a one-hit wonder, and now we will be able to continue to build a soccer tradition in Seattle. But the number one thing the MLS has going for itself without going on strike and getting this collective bargaining agreement done is their public relations now. I mean, currently there are talks about the NFL and NBA going on strike, even though they got a couple of years or a year or two left on their collective bargaining agreements. I mean, if those leagues go on strike, I mean, what does that do for the MLS? I mean, the MLS can be looked at now as a league that got something done during tough economic times. And their PR this year is going to skyrocket because of that. And anytime when PR skyrockets, I mean, the league is always, or a league is going to always make money no matter how poor or how great the quality of the product is on the field or pitch or gridiron, ice rink, whatever you want to call it. So, since the strike has been avoided, I really didn't expect to do this, but let's preview the Seattle Sounders FC, shall we? First of all, in order for the Sounders to be successful this year, they have to do three things. The first one is get rid of draws. I mean, I know draws are going to happen. It's part of soccer or football. It's part of the sport. And I understand that draws are not bad, like losses are, and they keep you in contention. However, if the Sounders were able to get rid of some draws, they could have had a higher seeding against the Houston Dynamo in the playoff last year. So get rid of draws. The second thing that they need to do is they need to finish off scoring drives. I mean, this was a huge issue last year because they have a bunch of players that can find holes in the defense. They just don't have anybody to finish off scoring drives. And an example of this is Nate Jakewell. I mean, the guy at one point led the team in shots, but did not have as many goals as he probably should have. You know, I'm using him as an example. I'm not here to harp on Jakewell. I personally like the guy. I think he's a beast. I think he goes well with Freddie Lundberg and Freddie Montero, but I'm using him as an example as one of the many players that we had on this team last year that just could not finish any scoring drives. And then finally, the last thing in order for the Sounders to be successful this year is they got to be more disciplined. No questions asked. They have to be more disciplined. I'm talking about the silly fouls. I believe at one point last season we led the league in red cards. And if we're more disciplined, we can get rid of the silly fouls. We can eliminate cards, both yellow and red. And it will allow the players to get more time to develop and gel with each other. We can become a more dominant team. We can become more of a unit, and we can definitely make our head coach's job, Siggy Schmidt's job, a lot easier than it was last year. In fact, I think we're already missing James Riley to the opening match of the season because of the red card in the playoffs last year. So let's be more disciplined. So I'm going to be honest. I was expecting to come on and vlog about how I think the MLS unfortunately was shooting themselves in the foot without getting this collective bargaining agreement done. But they got it done. So I'm going to say enjoy the season and catch the Seattle Sounders on ESPN2 this week when they take on the Philadelphia Union. Once again, you can check out my blog at cwupulsepug.blogspot.com. You also feel free to leave comments here, and I will respond to them. And thank you very much for watching. And until next week or next time, this has been another installment of the Pug Slots in the Doghouse.